is my slam time. Gonna bust up your behind. This is my slam time. Gonna mess up your whole mind. This is my slam time. Gonna bust up your behind. This is my slam time. Gonna mess up your whole mind.
Hello and welcome to episode 2 of EWA. Last week we had our debut episode. Go back, give it a watch if you haven't already. But now we're going to continue our tournament to crown the first ever EWA Champion. And this week we're coming to you live from Detroit, Michigan. And want to give a shout out to Pulverize yet again for their wonderful song Slam Time, which is the official theme of EWA from the album Chaos Games. Get it in the link in the description below. Now, let me introduce to you my colour commentator, my commentary partner, Emir Blackbane Costello.
That's right, buddy, and last week was an action-packed debut, which has got me really excited for what's to come. I hope these guys bring it tonight, because they got a lot to live up to.
Absolutely, and there was one block of the EWA Championship Tournament that was not in action last week, and we're kicking things off with action from that block. So this is a debut for EWA. This is from Block B, and this is Taylor Osborne from Funhinged, the third and final member of Funhinged.
I really like those Funhinged guys. They've all got a very unique look, and I gotta say, Taylor Osborne, he looks very interesting. Perhaps the smaller of the bunch, but that just means he's going to fight that much harder when his opponent comes up.
Yeah, absolutely. And so last week we saw in action his brother, Tornado, and then there's a third member, Thorn. They're all in separate blocks of this tournament, so there's every chance that all three members will make it to the final and have to face off. But at the moment, they've all got separate interests to just get themselves through. And we mentioned it last week, it's worth mentioning again. It's been expressly stated, no outside interference in this tournament. If you interfere, you will be removed from the tournament. Like, we want this to all be straight up, you know, the match is finished clean, so there's going to be no outside interference from Funhinged during this match. But yeah, Taylor Osborne is, as far as I can understand it from speaking to them, which isn't always the easiest because they are all pretty crazy characters, Taylor's the leader of Funhinged. You know, his little brother is Tornado, his younger brother I should say, and Thorn is obviously under Taylor in the pecking order as well, but you know, they don't seem to have that much structure, if we're being honest.
Well, hopefully Taylor's going to be a bunch of fun, because if you're the leader of the Crazy Pack, then you really got to bring the antics. Yeah,
and your reaction to seeing Thorn for the first time last week was one of the things our fans really enjoyed from the episode. So he's got a lot to live up to even try and match that. Anyway, his opponent is coming out now. Just saw him walking through the backstage area, awaiting him coming out onto the entrance ramp. And just while we wait for him, I just want to say a big thank you, here he is, to the people who did watch last week's episode. As far as I'm aware, it's already over 120 views, which is crazy, way more than I expected. So just big thank you to everyone who checked us out. So this is Cody Gentry, Taylor Osborne's opponent.
And Cody, like many of the opponents and wrestlers from last week, is coming out kind of ominous. He's got his face covered up. Can't wait to see what this guy could do once he gets in the ring.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked a lot about that, wearing a hood, wearing a mask, that sort of thing to hide your sort of emotions. Is that the right word? Your intentions towards the match? Like, these guys don't know each other at this point. You know, they're all new to each other. So you're giving very little away by covering yourself up. However, where do you stand on the sort of wearing a mask and a hood versus the Taylor Osborne approach and the Funhinged approach in general of having a full face of face paint to disguise those expressions?
Well, I think either way it goes, if you've got your eyes covered, that's probably the best option, because the eyes are the window to the soul. And if you can look into a man's eyes, he can hardly hide any of his intentions.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was just going to ask you what you were seeing in the eyes of Cody Gentry, but then he managed to hide it with all of this pyro that fell down all the way around the ring, including between him and the camera. So He was keeping it from us. And this match underway. 10-minute time limit you'll see in the top right corner of the screen. That applies to all tournament matches. And I think I should just reiterate for anyone who didn't watch week 1 how this tournament works. We have 16 wrestlers. Oh, Taylor getting off to a hot start with that crazy head scissors takeover. But yeah, we have 4 blocks of 4 wrestlers each. Each wrestler will have to fight everyone in their block once. It's 2 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, and 0 points if you lose, obviously. And the top of each block will go through to the finals to crown the first ever EWA Champion. So it's kind of like a round-robin type tournament. But yeah, hot start by Taylor Osborne. He's been taking it to Cody Gentry while I've been explaining the rules.
Which is a good thing, because if you take a look at these two guys, there's a little bit of a size disparity between them. And the only way that Taylor Osborne's going to be able to win this match is if he stays on Cody Gentry the entire time.
Yeah, and Taylor Osborne, I've already spotted a couple of really athletic moves that show he can fly around that ring and he can move quickly. So he's going to have to use that speed, because if he doesn't, you get moves like that. That's the power advantage that Cody Gentry's got. But now Cody's showing his no slouch and getting up to the top rope. Oh, moonsault stomp.
That athleticism from Cody. And we saw a match like this last week, where one guy had power, the other guy was high flying, and the power won out. So Taylor Osborne's got to be really careful of that, make sure that he has a bulletproof strategy.
Absolutely. I do get the feeling that, oh, Taylor with the leg trick. The fans may get behind Taylor Osborne because, you know, it's just the well-known thing that people love an underdog, and just on first impressions alone, Taylor Osborne appears to be the underdog just because, like you said, you've said a couple of times now, actually, the size discrepancy. You know, it's sort of automatically, without knowing anything about either person, makes you want to root for the underdog. So I think he'll have the fan support in this one.
Well, let's hope he will, because if you take a look at Taylor Osborne, he's quite literally under Cody, and he's really going to have to work really hard, because he can't afford to take his foot off the gas pedal, whereas Cody, one power move, he could really take him down.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we saw that power move from Cody Gentry before, and then he had enough time to get on top and hit a moonsault stomp, which is, you know, again, a bigger man coming down on you with all that force. It's not good. So, but I would say overall, Taylor Osborne's had the better of the opening, 2.5 minutes of this match. Catches the leg kick to the back of the leg, trying to weaken Gentry, take away that power base, and there's another strike to the leg. You know, he's got a bit of a strategy going in. Maybe not as wild and wacky and uncalculated as he would like you to think. Oh, and he leaps up into a cutter, and I've done my research this week, guys. He calls that the UTO, which stands for the Unpredictable Taylor Osborne. That's what the U in there stands for. And I think that's probably a pretty good word to describe him, unpredictable, because so far there's been a little bit of everything from Taylor. Look at this. Rolls up Cody.
Oh, and a pin reversal. There's another one.
Oh, and finally Cody kicks out without reversing it, and we're back up to our feet. But yeah, I've done a little bit of research. I know what the guys call their moves now. Oh, spin kick by Cody Gentry. Knocked Taylor clean out, I thought, but he's slowly getting back up to his feet. Definitely knocked him for a loop for a second now.
And that's that example of what happens when the power comes into play. Now, if you're Cody Gentry, and you've perhaps been a little bit bigger than the other people that have surrounded you your entire life, things make them easy to you. But when you're here in EWA, just because you're bigger, it doesn't mean you're better.
Absolutely. You know, we saw what a lot of people are talking about in the main event last week as a very big upset, where Alan Clark managed to pick up a win over Mammoth, who is by far the biggest competitor, you know, and he did that by grinding out the victory. Oh, rolling Death Valley driver by Taylor Osborne. He calls that the Ferris wheel. He's got a thing for fun fairs and stuff. Fun Hinge, the theme music, you know, calling it the Ferris wheel. Just likes to have fun, but also it gets business done.
And there's Taylor Osborne riding Cody's neck, and Cody gets up immediately. I think he feels disrespected at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think that move is supposed to come across as somewhat disrespectful, if I'm being honest. I can't see how that's supposed to be. It's not supposed to finish a match, is it? That's literally rubbing your face in it, your opponent's face in it, rubbing the face in the mat in a disrespectful way. That's just a bit of the mind games that come with Fun Hinged in general, I would say.
You got to really take a look at how Taylor Osborne is trying to break Cody down right now. Just body part by body part, top to bottom.
Yeah, exactly. You know, there's that. He thrives on that unpredictability, but at the same time, I think he knows what he's doing. I think, you know, I don't think he's unpredictable to himself. I don't think he's winging it out there. I think he knows what he's doing. And there's another UTO. Can he put Cody Gentry away with the second one? 1, 2. He's got it. No! Cody Gentry kicks out at the very, very last second.
Just barely gets that shoulder up.
Yeah, so that's a couple of UTOs now that Osborne's hit, and he's not yet put him away.
Cody's playing from behind. Yeah, he's got to step it up, or he's not going to be able to hang into this match for very much longer. See, I think Taylor Osborne he's like a fly at a barbecue. You keep swinging and you keep missing. And if you're Cody, at some point you hope you knock him out of the air.
It's not sure that's the most complimentary analogy you've ever given anyone, but I do appreciate what you mean. Yeah, absolutely. And Cody Gentry's left the ring. We're keeping the cameras on Taylor Osborne at the moment, but I saw a piece of our Spanish announce desk go flying, and now he's targeting our announce desk now. If we just look directly in front of us instead of at the monitor, he's right here tearing apart the announce tables. He's not happy, but Taylor Osborne not taking him on, waiting in the ring for him. He's like, you're getting counted out, mate. I'll get the win if you stay out there. And once Gentry comes back in, straight into a suplex. So, again, seeing great strategy from Taylor Osborne. Oh, what's he doing there? Oh, leg drop.
Look at Taylor. Wow, that was a massive whirling leg drop there from Taylor Osborne.
Yeah, but delaying the impact may have prevented Cody from being able to reverse that move, so again, maybe a slightly more tactical move than you would think at first glance. I don't know. Nice cartwheel into a moonsault by Osborne. We're 7 minutes into the match here, and I would say, I don't know, would it be fair to say Osborne's had about 5 minutes of the offense? Like, he's really been taking it to Gentry. Gentry's got a bit of, like, fight back in, but we've mostly been seeing Osborne on the offense. Oh! Handspring. Oh, I think he just caught him. He tried to duck underneath. I think he just caught him with that kick. Because Taylor Osborne's struggling up to his feet.
Taylor Osborne is so unpredictable that to this point, Cody is yet to be able to figure him out.
Yeah, and Cody sitting on the turnbuckle. I don't think that's him showing off. Oh, there's another UTL.
Oh,
I think that was him trying to figure out what's going on. Well, that's a third UTL. That's got to be it. No! Cody Gentry kicks out again.
How unpredictable. That was literally out of nowhere.
Yeah, and he mixed it up a bit on that third one, if you notice. He kind of went up and around Cody Gentry's head with the, you know, he sort of did a full rotation in the air and still hit the cutter. So it's going to be a big weapon for Taylor Osborne. Can hit it out of nowhere.
Taylor's calling for it. I think this may be the end of the match if he can hit this.
There's another one. Fourth UTO. No, Cody Gentry's arm was under the ropes. Ring positioning, but he drags him away from the ropes. He's going to go for another pin attempt. He is, yeah, good. So we didn't see a lot of that last week. People would get a rope break, but you haven't made your opponent kick out yet. So by all means, drag him away from the ropes and go for that pin. But that delay allows Cody Gentry to kick out again. So we're seeing Taylor Osborne being great on the offense, but we're seeing some really good resilience from Cody Gentry. He ain't for going down.
There's only a minute left in this match. You got to wonder if that rookie mistake by Taylor is going to cost him.
Yeah, okay, now Gentry's got him lined up here. What's he got in mind? Oh, he went for a big knee to the side of the head, but Taylor avoided it. And now hooks him up. DDT.
Oh.
With a little bit of Taylor Osborne flair, of course.
47 seconds left. Somebody's got to go for a cover.
Got to stop playing those mind games now, Taylor. This has been fun the few times you've hit it, but got to go for the big offense now. Big offense. And another UTO. He's going to win it with 30 seconds left on the clock. Here we go. This is it. One.
Wow. Cody Gentry with the power. Kicking out with power.
Wow. Okay, so, yeah, a little bit of desperation creeping into Taylor Osborne's game now. And you can't blame him. We're under 20 seconds left on the clock. He lifts him up. Reverse DDT. Doesn't go for the pin, though. He's not been able to put him away with the UTO, so I think he maybe thinks he needs something bigger than the UTO, not just another standard maneuver. He's going to go for the pin. He doesn't go for the pin. He can't win now. This is a draw. Time limit draw. And Gentry actually kicks him off, so they stand facing each other to conclude the match. And we've had a draw in Block B.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, I can't believe how much offense Cody Gentry took and kept kicking out. That's some some impressive toughness. So, we're going to stick in Block B, another 2 debuts, and this man, he likes to have a party. This is Drake Doobie.
Oh, look at this guy. This guy is having a great time.
Yeah, and hopefully he didn't have too great of a time backstage before the match, because that might be detrimental. Kind of got bloodshot eyes there, mate. Like, you know, don't think, I think you best hope we don't do a random test backstage after this match.
Yeah, what is in the cup?
Yeah, probably nothing by this point. What was in the cup might be the more prevalent question. But yeah, just while Drake Doobie's making his way to the ring, his rivals in Block B just fought to a time limit draw. What would you attribute to that? Because Taylor Osborne pretty much dominated the match. I think that's fair to say. He led that match. He ran roughshod for 3/4 of the match minimum over Cody Gentry, but couldn't put him away. Is that Gentry's toughness? Is there another factor? What do you make of that?
You know what? Cody Gentry is a big, tough guy, and I don't know. You know, I've only seen Taylor the one time, so I'm a little scared for Taylor, because you got to wonder, if you threw your best shot at a guy over and over again, yet you couldn't put him away, how far do you think you're going to make it in this tournament?
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be a concern for Taylor. So, Drake Doobie's opponent coming out here, fully dressed. He's in a t-shirt, a jacket. He's got that cross around his neck. He's got jeans on, trainers. Like, okay, this is Richard Anderson, but I'm not quite sure what to make of this. Like, he just seems like he's coming out for an interview. So, we'll see what happens. He's got a single glove on. That's the only sort of wrestling attire looking part of him. Unless those trainers are actually wrestling boots, they could go up inside the pants, I suppose. But yeah, just an interesting entrance attire. Not come out trying to look the hard man like a lot of people do with the hoods up and the masks on and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, no, so he had wrestling tights on under those jeans, but just an interesting first impression I got from him. It was a bit different.
Ooh. I just like the way that Drake danced down to the ring the entire time. He had all kinds of moves, and Richard just casually walked down.
Yeah, Richard wasn't. He's definitely a different kind of character than Drake Doobie. Let's put it that way. Absolutely. Oh, double underhook powerbomb. Drake Doobie's had the hot start to this match though. And look at this. Oh, wow. Okay, it does a moonsault, but kind of kicks Richard in the head. But if you notice, Richard on the offense after that. Great toughness. Going to take a bit to take this man down, it would seem. Knife edge chop. Oh, Doobie rolls out the way of the...
There's some aggression coming from Richard Anderson.
Yeah, absolutely. So Doobie got the hot start with the high flying move, the Hurricane Rana, the moonsault, all that sort of stuff. Oh, that looked like a UTO of sorts. Is that just part of his general repertoire, or was he watching the previous match and doing a little bit of a call out to Taylor Osborne? Who knows? Because these two will face at some point in this tournament. There's another one.
Oh, another one. Maybe sending a message to Taylor Osborne.
Yeah, these two are going to fight at some point. You know, they're in the same block. They have to fight. Everyone in the block fights each other. Backslide driver. I forgot what that was called then for a second. And now Drake Doobie sits down and refines his center or something. It seemed like he was meditating briefly there. Oh, Richard Anderson just completely took that forearm. Didn't even take a step backwards, but Drake Doobie stayed on offense, unperturbed.
You take a look at Richard Anderson, and this guy is solid, top to bottom. He's very serious, he's very focused. And I know that Drake has got a lot of fancy dance moves, but he's going to have to do a lot to outsmart Richard Anderson.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like he's got something in mind here for Richard Anderson. Lifts him up into a tombstone piledriver position, but Richard Anderson reverses it and drops Doobie with a tombstone. Now, the tombstone is one of Doobie's signature moves, so now he's hit a couple of UTOs. Now Richard Anderson hitting him with his own signature move. There's a lot of move theft going on in this episode so far, to be quite blunt. Block B is getting personal quickly. Oh, speaking of getting personal, nothing more personal than kicking someone in the face a few times. But Doobie back on offense with the jawbreaker. And there's another... We're just going to call it a cutter when Doobie does it. Like, it's only the UTO when Taylor does it. Look, he's not trying to put his opponent away. He's not claiming that as a finisher. We'll just call it a cutter. But it's definitely a throwback, a callback to the UTO we saw several times in the first match. Both men here with a big opportunity, having just watched their opponents in the block fight to a time limit draw. Either man picks up the win here and they're top of their block, which is where you want to be. But on the flip side, you don't want to make a mistake and end up bottom of the block.
And to my surprise there, Richard Anderson kind of rolled out of the ring to maybe catch his breath a bit. He's got to figure out this puzzle that is Drake Doobie.
Yeah, Richard Anderson showing how tough he is, you know. Definitely not got a glass jar either. He's taken a couple of good shots and just stood there and taken them. But at the same time, he's getting the short end of the stick here with Drake Doobie in this match. We've seen some parallels, not in terms of the size discrepancy, but just in terms of the dynamic of the match between this and the first match. The first match was a lot of Taylor Osborne offense and Cody Gentry showing he can take it all. And now this match seems to be kind of the same, with Drake Doobie taking Taylor Osborne's role and Richard Anderson taking the Cody Gentry role.
Drake Doobie does seem wild and unpredictable.
Oh! So, just so you know, that's his other finisher. He calls that the Flying Doobie. And Richard Anderson, somehow, in their first match in EWA, has now countered both of Drake Doobie's finishers. I don't know if he's managed to get hold of some tape on Drake Doobie from some source, but he's had him scouted, and now Richard Anderson hits the Redemption. That is his finishing manoeuvre. That's what he calls it, the Redemption. He doesn't go for the pin though. Maybe thinks he hasn't done enough to Drake Doobie yet because he hasn't had a lot of the offense in this match. So drops the knee instead and stays on the offense.
I think the amount of performers that have missed opportunities to cover is kind of alarming at this point. You got to question, do these guys want to win this tournament?
Yeah, that was his other finisher though, and he calls that the Narrow Road, and that only produced a 2 count even after the Redemption and the Narrow Road. So Richard Anderson's hit both of his finishers and Drake Doobie's kicked out. Drake Doobie hasn't been able to successfully hit a finisher yet, so sort of tale of 2 attempts at using their finishers in this match. And we're halfway there, give or take. And there's another cutter. Drake Doobie.
Another cutter, yes.
He likes going to that well, but, you know, if it ain't broke, as I always like to say. Oh, clothesline by Doobie. Richard Anderson's face might be broke. And he bounces off the ropes. Oh, calf kick. Great combination by Drake Doobie there. And now lifts Richard Anderson up. He's going to scoop him up. Oh, he calls that the dab out. And he's going to hope he can put Richard Anderson away, but he's not going for the pin. Instead, looking to follow it up. We might be looking at another tombstone attempt here.
Let's see what he's got here.
No, he went for an arm wringer into a top wristlock. I'm not sure what he's got in mind here, but Richard Anderson, couple of punches to the ribs, and a third one makes Doobie release. Drake Doobie had a lot of momentum there, and then went to a top wristlock. I'm not sure that was the best tactical move that he's ever made. And now, you know, he's just eating a knee to the face, so I think that kind of backs up my point.
Richard Anderson proving that he's amazing at scouting these moves and kind of being able to predict what Drake Doobie might do next.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen tape of these guys. I've spoken to the wrestlers and you know, and their management teams and what have you, and got hold of this information about their moves. I haven't seen these wrestlers in action yet, so I don't know where Richard Anderson's seen it, but done better research than I have. Drake Doobie blocks the right hand though, rocks Richard Anderson against the ropes, went for another cutter there, but Anderson finally pushes him off one. Oh, Hurricane Banner. It's been back and forth, but again, I think Drake Doobie's had slightly the better of it, maybe not quite as much. Uh-oh, what's he got in mind here? Oh! Springboard into a DDT onto the apron. And we are legally obliged to tell you that is the hardest part of the ring. Ladies and gentlemen, the apron, you don't want to get DDT'd on there. Especially because it looked like Richard Anderson hit the edge of the apron with the top of his head. So there's real risk of a neck injury there if you just fall slightly wrong. And Drake Doobie going back to the cutter, especially with the weakened neck now of Richard Anderson. Can't blame him.
Richard Anderson just rolls out immediately.
Yeah, take a breather. He's not enjoying himself at the moment in this match, and he rolls back in, and he's gone straight in to the tombstone. He calls that the Stoner Special, in case the rest of his gimmick wasn't on the nose enough. No, Richard Anderson kicks out at 1 out of the first successful finisher contact from Drake Doobie. So 2.5 minutes, under 2.5 minutes left in the match, and Doobie's going to have to go back to the drawing board. Oh! He misses the twisting 450 splash off the middle rope. Great athleticism to do all that rotation. Oh, spinebuster.
Is that like a bear? Oh, it's like a bear hug slam.
Yeah, bear hug into a spinebuster. Interesting. He calls that the barrier breaker, according to my research. Oh, and I call that another cutter. Many cutters in this opening match from Drake. Not opening match, sorry, but their opening match, their debut match is what I meant. Good recovery. 2. He's going to put him away with the dab out. No, Richard Anderson, not a convincing kick out though. Just about rolled the shoulder. Not the same conviction as the first kick out of the Stoner Special. But back in charge already.
Well, I'll tell you, Richard Anderson, he keeps finding ways to reverse, and I hate to be the guy that's constantly bringing up the time, but why is nobody else concerned with it?
Oh, back elbow by Drake Doobie, and here we go, going for another Stoner Special. I think Doobie's got a bit of urgency about him. I think he's sussed out that we're getting near to the time limit. Is Richard Anderson too close to the ropes? Reach out. No, he doesn't need to. He kicks out.
Oh my goodness.
I feel like Richard Anderson could have reached the ropes then, but maybe didn't have his wits fully about him. He just got dropped on his head after all. Oh, another cutter attempt, but Anderson reverses, but runs into a jawbreaker by Doobie, and there's another successful cutter. 45 seconds left on the clock. Jake Doobie going up top. He's looking for something big to finally put Richard Anderson away. We can't start Block B with 2 draws. Oh, gets the knees up. Got 30 seconds left. This is it. Make or break time now. Oh, Richard Anderson. Here we go. Going for a roll-up. You've got to appreciate this move. Trying to get the victory. Oh, he didn't get it. But that sense of urgency to pick up the victory, definitely something, like you said, we need to see at this stage in the match. Oh, high angle slam from Richard Anderson. And now waiting for Doobie. Doobie's staggering to his feet. Has he got time? Oh, he would have had time, but Drake Doobie kicks him off. He blocks it. Running calf kick. Richard Anderson again goes to roll out the ring, but the time limit has been hit. Both Block B matches end in a draw.
First 2 matches start out with a draw. What is happening tonight?
What is happening is we've got some tough competition, and everyone in EWA is showing. We ain't got no glass jars here. Kicking out of so much stuff, you know, and you've got to really pile on the offense. Anyway, here's the man who arguably got the biggest victory from last week, Alan Clark. He's in Block A, I should say, and he picked up what I think everyone would consider to be an upset victory over the gigantic Mammoth. Can he build on that momentum here this week?
I think it's worth pointing out at this point as well that with so many draws, if anybody actually comes away with a legit W tonight, it's going to mean so much more as far as points go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Block B at this point is crazy wide open because they've all had a match now, but there's no advantage. There's no one is out in front. You know, the other 3 blocks, I believe. Oh no, so 2 of the other blocks, Block A and Block D, both had 2 victors and 2 losers in the first week. So that means there's like a distinct gap now in that block where the people who lost last week really have to make up some ground. But in Block B, there's no ground to be made up. Everyone might as well have not had a match yet. It's a complete level playing surface. So anyway, Alan Clark awaits his opponent. And speaking of people who lost last week, here's Shane Andrews. Tapped out to the bear hug from Frost, if you remember. And so this is a crucial match for Shane Andrews. If Shane Andrews loses to Alan Clark here, he can't make the final. So a bit of pressure on Shane Andrews here.
I don't remember if I mentioned it last week or not, but if you just take a look at Shane Andrews, he's just a beautiful man. And you got to hope that he comes out here tonight, handles business, in the time limit, and gets a victory.
Man, you know it's Saturday, right? It's not Man Crush Monday. Like, I think you got a bit of a thing going with Shane Andrews. But no, I appreciate the point you were making last week. I think was you made a couple of times with those looks coming to the wrist that he's going to be a bit sensitive about taking hits to the face and that sort of thing. So could that work against him? And last week he lost a match. Now whether that boils down to being because of that reason, is definitely debatable. It didn't seem like he was afraid to mix it up, but I think that was sort of where you were going with that last week. At the very least, you know, it wasn't just Black Bane having a crush on one of the wrestlers.
Come on, Shane Andrews, man. I want to see what this guy's got. You're going against a guy last week. Look at the way he raises that eyebrow.
Yeah, he looked equally confident last week, and he got caught by Frost, and I think he's accepted that, he's owned it, and he looks like he's spent the previous week refocusing, rebuilding that confidence, you know, talking to himself in the mirror, telling himself, you know how good you are, you just have to do your thing, and you'll pick up wins. We'll see if it worked, because Alan Clark must be riding high on a wave of momentum right now, because he picked up a massive win last week. Oh! Straight into the slam by Alan Clark. Shane Andrews kind of ran into that, maybe a bit overconfident or overcompensating for that confidence knock he took last week and running straight into the attack. And these two going back and forth. Andrews hooking Clark up for a suplex, but Clark punches him off. And a scoop slam.
They seem to be pretty evenly matched so far. Both guys reversing the other.
Yeah, but Clark coming out of a couple of encounters on the winning side at the moment and dropping a spectacular knee drop, bouncing off the ropes, getting some air on that knee, and now dropping an elbow, and a second one, and a third one.
I love the form on that knee drop, by the way.
Yeah, beautiful knee drop, absolutely phenomenal, you could say. Into the corner goal. Oh, Andrews finally dodges an attack, but immediately Clark ducks underneath Andrews' counter and hits a clothesline. I'd say, like you say, they've been going back and forth, trading some reversals, but I would definitely say that Clark leading this match in the early stages. Nice deadlift German and holds the bridge, but only gets a 1 count. Still early in the match though, just testing the waters, I feel there.
Gotta love the power display that Alan Clark put on with that last suplex, by the way.
Yeah, there's not like some huge size discrepancy between these two. You know, I think Clark might marginally be the bigger man, but yeah, it still takes a lot of strength to deadlift German suplex someone of comparable size to yourself. Absolutely. Now we can't quite see what Andrews is doing here. The referee's got an eye on him, not going for the eyes. Yeah, the referee was in position. I think he was just applying a neck cramp, to be honest. But we couldn't see because for some reason our production crew switched to that cameraman. Jawbreaker. Hey, Andrews. Oh!
There's a sneaky roller.
No, only gets a 1 count again, but that's 2 pinfall attempts in just over 2 minutes by Alan Clark. And you've mentioned in several matches so far. Oh, misses the big kick attempt. You mentioned in several matches so far the lack of urgency in going for pinfall attempts. Alan Clark definitely wanting to build on his victory last week, and in fact took 4 of these to put Mammoth down. But that's no surprise because Mammoth is huge. But that's it. Oh, okay. So it's going to take more than 1 Shining Wizard from Alan Clark to Shane Andrews as well. And I can tell you, in fact, that he calls that the crowning achievement, is Alan Clark, that Shining Wizard. So we can refer to it by its proper name from now on.
That's a beautiful name. And the other thing about it is Shane Andrews and all the competitors, they got to take a page out of Alan Clark's book. I'm not saying go for 1,000,000 pins, but you got to try to win these matches and stop letting them go to a draw.
Yeah, absolutely. Alan Clark has hit 3 pins in 3 minutes. Oh my god! Wow!
Oh my goodness!
Great athleticism by Shane Andrews. He kicked up to his feet, he ran the ropes, and he threw Alan Clark with an overhead belly-to-belly suplex all the way across the ring. And look at how fired up Shane Andrews is now.
Let's go, Shane. Wow. A bulldog to boot. Gotta love the energy coming from Shane Andrews. I think he is ready to go.
Absolutely. That kip up into the run up the ropes into the overhead belly-to-belly suplex might be the most beautiful thing we've seen in the first couple of weeks so far.
My goodness. Alan Clark is stopping that momentum immediately. Shane Andrews is back on the mat.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, springboard Hurricane Rana. Alan Clark showing he can go in terms of athleticism as well. I don't think we saw a lot of that out of him from Mammoth. Probably against Mammoth. He's probably fearing getting caught by Mammoth a bit to go for that sort of move. Oh, I thought he was going to go for another Shining Wizard here, but instead, a spike Hurricane Runner. Head first goes Shane Andrews.
By the way, a little earlier we saw the way that Alan Clark beat his chest for the crowd, as if to say, you guys got excited because of what Andrews did? Don't forget, I'm still in the ring.
Yeah, absolutely. And just showing how pumped he is as well. You know, he's coming off a big victory. It's impossible not to walk into this match without a lot of confidence and swagger. But Shane Andrews has caught him with a stiff right, and he calls that the bullet drop. Can he put him away? 1, 2. And he does!
Oh my goodness!
Okay, so we were talking about how some of our guys can take some moves. Shane Andrews might have the most impactful finisher we've seen, because he hit it once, and it finished the match. That's a big win for Shane Andrews, and it brings him right back into contention in Block A.
A beautiful finish for a beautiful man.
And you know who else is going to be happy with that victory, as well as Shane Andrews? Frost. Because Frost now, later on tonight, will have the opportunity to go 2 wins from 2 and go clear at the top of Block A. Because Alan Clark has 1 win from 2, Shane Andrews has 1 win from 2. The only problem is, Frost has to get through Mammoth to do that. So we'll see how that goes later tonight. That's our main event.
Sounds like a tall order.
Yeah, literally and figuratively. So, here's the man who will forever be known as the first winner in EWA history. Here's Payne. And he won in impressive fashion last week. This is a Block D match now. So Block C is the block that will be absent from this week's show. They'll be back next week. But yeah, Payne coming out through the audience just like he did last week. He picked up the first ever win in EWA history. Arguably, I would say the most convincing win in EWA history so far as well. It's only been a short history, but he made fairly light work of Jackson Blake.
And by the way, we talked earlier about what you see in a man's eyes. When I look in Payne's eyes, I see death and destruction. This guy's going to tear it up out there tonight.
See, when I look in Payne's eyes, I see fear, but that's because I can see my reflection. This man is intimidating. Like, this man is intimidating. Bet you wondered where I was going with that, didn't you? But yeah, like, wow, yeah, Payne is something else. And let's see if he can pull out a performance like he did last week, because that was impressive. And the other thing to be said for a round-robin tournament with a title match at the end of it, the quicker you blast through your weekly opponents and get to that final, the less fatigued and the less damaged you're going to be, and the less little niggling injuries you could be carrying going into it, and it's an advantage. So picking up the quickest win is not just a statement, it's also really advantageous.
By the way, you gotta wonder where a guy like Payne is getting all this money. Every week.
Probably from some form of fighting, surely. Like, you know, like, there's good money in various forms of fighting, including professional wrestling, but it's got to be some form of combat. Like, he's just too good at it to not be making money from it, surely.
He drops money from the sky, and as it falls down, he burns it with pyro.
Maybe he just doesn't have any value for money. Maybe he just doesn't care. Maybe he's got his stash of beanies and his wrestling gear, and that's all he needs in his life, so he just burns the rest. Oh, here's your favourite.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Oh, Thorn.
Yeah, I don't know how much attention you pay to the EWA social media scene, but Thorn has some interesting thoughts on Twitter as well. I'll let people just go and read those. The link to our Twitter is in the description, and we follow Thorn and we retweet a lot of his stuff and converse with. You'll be able to find him. Yeah, go check. He has some interesting. His brain works in interesting ways. Let's just put it that way.
You know what? I'm watching this guy dance, and at some point we're gonna have to have a dance-off between Thorn and Drake Doobie there, and see who's truly the better.
Dance off, absolutely. Main event anywhere in the world. But Thorn, there's that. What I said last week. Is it a false sense of security? Does he really know what he's doing? And he slid in and took out the legs of Payne with the very first move of the match. And so far, actually kind of not really one step ahead of Payne consistently, but keeping up with Payne. And gone for the legs a couple of times now. So maybe he has got a strategy in mind.
I think Payne's going to take care of Thorn, but the question is how quickly.
Oh, okay, that's a bold prediction to just dismiss Thorn like that, especially considering the start to the match we've had. Thorn hooks him up, front face lock. Oh, Payne lifted. No, that was Thorn lifting himself. I thought Payne had far out of it for a second then, but no, kind of like a tornado DDT by Thorn. And now a theatrical elbow drop, I think, is how we'll describe that. But yeah, you say that, you know, how quickly will Payne put Thorn away, but Thorn's got Payne off his game. Payne was fighting another straight-up fighter last week, and was clearly just, on the day at least, the better fighter. Now, this is a completely different situation.
Goodness.
Like, does Payne just not know what to make of Thorn? Could this throw him off his game enough that Thorn picks up a victory? Almost called him something I didn't want to then. Samoan drop.
And here goes Payne to the top rope.
Oh! Misses the kick. And Thorn doesn't. A minute and a half gone, and Thorn has really had Payne off his game in this match so far. Payne with the go behind. Can he build a bit of momentum now? Oh, no, back elbow from Thorn. Not having none of that. Oh!
Thorn, much like his brother, pretty unpredictable. When you're a guy like Payne and you're used to fighting other straight-up guys, perhaps you don't know what to make of Thorn.
Yeah, just going to have to make a minor correction there. He's not Taylor's brother, that's Tornado, but they're all like a brethren in Funhinge, so you can understand the mistake. Oh! So he hit a Tiger feint kick, which I believe, let me just look at my notes, he calls that the Fun House, which probably wasn't fun for Payne, but Payne got out of the way of the 450 follow-up. Oh, Enziguri off the apron, Thorn falls to the outside. I've been going at it, but I just wanted to get in there what his signature manoeuvre's called. But, oh, and now Thorn, again, a step ahead of Payne. Getting back in the ring, dodging that kick off the top rope. Payne's gone for it twice, he's missed it twice. Oh! Thorn used the referee as a shield for that slingshot spear, and there is a UTO, and it's actually, when Thorn called it, it's called an MSFTO, which stands for Move Stolen from Taylor Osborne. Oh, but Payne kicks out at 1. You gotta love the sense of humour that they have in Funhinged.
Oh my goodness, Payne has got to do something to get back into this match.
Yeah, he showed his toughness, he kicked out of the MSFTO, but he's been hit with a lot of big moves so far. But there's a big one from Payne himself, and he calls that the Pain Killer. Oh, but it doesn't kill Thorn. Thorn is still alive in this match. But for how long? Because now that Payne's hit a big move, he's going to be going. His momentum's going. Oh, he misses the back elbow. There's the spear. That's what he put Jackson Blake away with.
Oh my goodness.
But Thorn, arm under the ropes, ring positioning by Payne. And we saw this from Taylor before, dragging him away from the ropes to go. No! Oh! Straight right hand. Okay,
yes.
So Payne not going for the follow-up pin, instead choosing just to jaw Thorn.
These guys have got to get some more ring awareness. They do these high impactful moves they could possibly win, and their opponent easily reaches out and touches the rope.
Absolutely. Sometimes it's worth taking that second not to go for the instant pin and just drag your opponent a little bit away from the ropes and not get caught out with it. Oh, Payne not impressed with that springboard arm drag by Thorn, getting up to his feet, looking angry. German suplex.
Oh. Here comes Payne.
Absolutely. But here comes Thorn, hitting the jawbreaker as Payne lifted him up off the mat, and then an Enziguri to follow up. Payne's been off his game compared with his week 1 match. Don't know if we credit that to Thorn, or if we just, you know, say you can't catch a lightning in a bottle twice like that. And there's another MSFTO, Payne with the counter, but he's tired. He's trying to keep up with Thorn, he's running rings around him. But again, a 1 count kick out.
Payne looks like he's gassing out, man. Well, Payne doesn't have a lot of energy in that ring mouth. Thorn is just literally running circles around him.
And speaking of circles, airplane spin. Going old school is Thorn. Showing a little bit of appreciation for some old school wrestling.
That's right. Try to get your opponent a little bit disoriented, kind of stumbling off his feet.
Yeah, but at the same time, does it not make you dizzy as well? You know, like you're spinning just as much as your opponent is. But Payne falls into the pin. He manages to. Thorn falls into the pin, manages to locate Payne. But again, Payne kicks out. I'm not sure the referee hit the mat the second time there. If he didn't, Thorn hasn't even managed to get a 2 count on Payne yet. Never mind a 3.
Half of this match is gone, and nobody is yet close to winning.
Another painkiller. He might be close to winning now. 1. No, a 1 count. Wow. Great toughness on both sides here. Now Thorn slowly stirring. Payne punches the mat. He's ready. Oh, spits up a little blood, it looked like there.
Oh,
got some damage, and there's a stunner by Payne.
Smartly pulling Thorn away from the ropes this time.
Yeah, absolutely, but then Thorn kicked straight up out of the stunner. That's one of Payne's signature moves. That's no small task.
Look at the power of Payne.
Absolutely, but gets a 1 count again. 4 minutes left on the clock. We've already had 2 draws on this show. Could we see a third one?
Thorn.
I know you love you some Thorn, really.
Nice crossbody. Yes.
You laugh at the man, but I know you love it. Alright, he's entertaining, if nothing else.
Thorn is so unorthodox.
Yeah, and I say he's entertaining, if nothing else, but he's showing here he is something else. He is also a dangerous competitor. Payne, most convincing victory of week 1, by some distance, I would say, and he's in trouble. He's in big trouble against Thorn here. Oh my god, a moonsault off the apron. Thorn, no regard for his own well-being. Thorn
can really build on this.
Oh no. In a battle of human versus ring steps win, I'm afraid.
Thorn has been much more aggressive in this match than he was in his match last week, and if he gets a couple more big moves, he could really steal a victory from Payne here. Yeah,
it's paying off for him. And you notice Payne broke up the referee's count and came back out. He wants to win this legitimately. Now, Thorn allowing the referee to count somewhat in the ring. Is he going for the count-out victory? Any victory is a victory. You still get 2 points. Oh, doesn't look like it. Oh, and Payne dodges out the way, and that's lucky because Thorn was coming down hard on top of his head with that elbow then. Or intending to, anyway. Thorn back in the ring. Payne follows him in, but is, again, a little bit off the pace.
Just over 2 minutes left in the match. Somebody's got to do something.
Oh, there's the funhouse again. And there's the 450 splash after it, and this time he hits the springboard not 450, shooting star press, my bad. I think I called it a 450 last time as well, so apologies to everyone shouting at me in the comments. Payne stumbling slowly to his feet. Oh, went for another MSFTO. Oh, but Payne pushes him off and hits a spear. That's how he put Jackson Blake away last week.
Going for the cover. Here's the cover.
And he got it.
And he's got him.
3 count. Payne.
I'm telling you something, man.
Showing a different side to him in this match, showing the toughness. Last week he showed his dominance and his aggression. This week he showed he can grind out a tough victory. It's going to be hard to stop with those 2 attributes.
I agree. And listen, Thorn, you might have the fun house, but allow me to welcome you to the house of Payne.
Oh, look at that. Very nice. That's why we hired you as a color commentator. that right there. And by the way, good time to shout it out, and I know you already struggle getting your head through a doorway as it is, but a good time to shout you out. You got a lot of positive feedback on the commentary last week. A lot of people loving someone being on commentary. So that's why we had you back this week.
I definitely appreciate it.
Oh, now, by the way, I just want to point out, guys, now that he's out in the same arena as me, I meant no disrespect to Jackson Blake by commenting so much on how quickly Payne dispatched him. It was purely to put over how much of a threat Payne is. I'm willing to say that was it was nerves. It was in the opening match. He may have just got caught flat-footed by Payne. He didn't know what to expect. We'll give Jackson Blake another shot here, see how he does. And also, just want to wish the man a happy birthday. So, better luck today on your birthday than last week. Will he have a nice birthday present of 2 points, or will he be getting some birthday beats? What's your prediction?
Well, I gotta say, based on the way that he's walking down to the ring and the look in his eyes, perhaps it's just a hangover from last week, but he doesn't look too confident. And when that bell rings, he's got to bring it, man.
Yeah, he's not marching at the ring, but is that a lack of confidence, or is that a slow, methodical pace? Is that him keeping himself calm? Last week maybe the occasion of being in the very first EWA match got the better of him. Maybe just not knowing what he was going to see from Payne got the better of him. He has seen a match from CJ. CJ was in action last week, so maybe he's had a chance to do his homework and put on a performance. Jackson Blake, by the way, needs to win here. It should be pointed out, with that loss, Thorn cannot progress to the final because Payne is 4 points ahead of him with only 2 points available to Thorn out of the final match in their block. So Thorn is out of the tournament. I think the first man to go out of the tournament, unfortunately, is Thorn. Jackson Blake could be following him if he doesn't pick up a victory on his birthday against CJ. And you were a big fan of CJ last week, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, he had some great moves, and I just want to say for both these guys, which you alluded to earlier, I can't imagine the pressure of performing not only in front of an arena full of screaming EWA fans, but also everybody watching at home around the world. It's got to be nerve-wracking.
Yeah, absolutely. And the nerves will settle as you get into it, but this is still week 2. You know, it's still a bit, and it's still a feeling out process. You have one match to scout your opponent at the moment, unless you're a great researcher like Richard Anderson earlier tonight, and you've somehow found tape on your opponent, or he might just be a great improviser with reversals. We'll probably never know which it is, but unless you've got one of those two traits, you know very little about your opponent going into these matches. Like, by the time we've established who's going to be in the world title picture, each man who gets into that final match will have only had 3 matches. You know, there's still not a lot of scouting to do there, so there's still a bit of a feeling out process going on.
By the way, you gotta love how so many of these performers, they have these big, dramatic pyrotechnic displays. Let's hope they make a big, dramatic impact in the ring and get a W here.
Oh, CJ just dodges the running dropkick from Jackson Blake. Really punked him out on that first move, and now going to suplex him. Yeah, speaking of the pyro, I really hope the wrestlers are providing their own pyro and paying the budget for it, because I don't know about you, I'm not getting paid great for this. If all that money's going on pyro budget, I'm going to be having words. Not with any of the wrestlers, I might add, with management. But,
Pain has literally gotten me to burn, so hopefully some of these guys are really
he's burning my money that I'm not earning. Oh, shot on clothesline. We thought he was going to send Jackson Blake off the ropes, but instead drags him back and nearly decapitates him. Blake out of the ring and back in. He's throwing kicks and punches, but CJ just keeping him at arm's length. And then showing his speed, ducking down behind with the go behind. He's not looking great here, Jackson Blake. Come on. It's your birthday, you know, you gotta represent on your level up day. Here we go. Fights back. No, straight back at him goes CJ. Okay, he's putting a bit of back and forth effort in now, is Jackson Blake. There we go. There's a clothesline of his own.
By the way, is there any part of you that's surprised that CJ doesn't ride a motorcycle down to the ring?
Hey, a little bit, but I do hear that he apologies, guys, for a couple of connection issues during this match, by the way. We're hoping we can stick with it. But yeah, he does ride a motorcycle, rides a bike in his life, but maybe just doesn't want to risk. I mean, we've seen with wrestlers in the past who've ridden motorcycles, so it can be a distraction. Their opponent can maybe go out and kick their bike and knock them off the game or stuff like that. So maybe he just doesn't want that sort of distraction. Maybe he just wants to stay focused, not have his pride and joy out here with him. Jackson Blake almost lost his pride and joy, which is his head on that clothesline there. He's outside the ring and CJ's followed him out. No respite.
By the way, CJ has got full power on display right now, and Jackson Blake, he's got to do something to prove that he belongs here.
Oh, yeah, and one thing I've noticed about this match that hasn't been super common in other matches, they're really feeling each other out. They keep sort of stepping back and stepping out of the way of moves and keeping the distance and picking the moments to go on the offense. Oh, did you see that? What a move by CJ. As Jackson Blake turned him over into the Boston Crab, CJ grabbed the rope and dragged it into him. So it was an instant rope break. That was great ring awareness by CJ. That's the sort of stuff that wins you championships in professional wrestling. That sort of awareness. Oh! Also, meeting people in the face like that won't do you any harm. Now he's got him up. Oh! He calls that the James drop. Maybe that's what the J is in CJ? James? I don't know. I don't know what the meaning behind that name is, but he calls it the James drop.
By the way, I don't remember CJ being this physically imposing last week, but he is all over his opponent.
Yeah, he's picking his spots, he's keeping his distance, but when he's getting in close, like look at that triple suplex, 3 different suplexes. Oh, but before we talk about that, that's a roll-up by Jackson Blake. Can he steal a win on his birthday? No. CJ just kicks out. Oh, clothesline into the corner though. Blake got CJ off his game temporarily there with that roll-up. And he's actually retaining that position of control over the match at the moment. Nice vertical suplex. But yeah, what I was going to say, yeah, he held on for those 3 suplexes in a row, CJ. He maintained waist control. and showing that once he's got you, he ain't letting you go. He's just slamming you all over the place. Jackson rolls out and come back in. Oh, again that speed from CJ with that go behind. And a belly to back seat. Oh, and again, look at this, the waist control. Jackson's got to find a way out of this. This is birthday beats taken to the extreme.
Oh my god.
Is that a British thing, or do you guys have that in America?
Birthday beats?
Yeah.
Is that like when you beat somebody on your birthday?
Yeah, so in school, you used to go in school, and if it's your birthday, you'd have to take like the number of beats on the arm for how old you were. So say you were turning 12, you'd get punched on you're like dead arm 12 times by each person. Birthday beats. Yeah,
yes, so
it's just a British thing, is it?
We do have that. No, we have it in America, but it's called something different. But now that I think of it, it's not a great name. It's called birthday licks, but it's nothing to do with the gun. You're just getting punched.
That sounds like something completely different. And oh my god, so CJ just put him away with what he calls the sleep maker. And he made Blake sleep, and not a happy birthday for Jackson Blake, unfortunately. Great victory for CJ though, and I must apologise to CJ for talking about birthday beats during his victory, but it came kind of from out of nowhere. That sleep maker move, he just hits it and it's over, and you just don't even know where it hit you from.
Jackson Blake's going to have to do something to find his place here in EWA, because 2 weeks in a row, he looks like he's having a tough go.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Jackson Blake, he's not going to be the first EWA champion. He's out of the tournament. He's still got one match left. He will still have the match, Jackson Blake and Thorn between themselves. A lot of pride on the line there now, having suffered 2 losses. But we're also going to see CJ and Payne go at it, and the winner will win Block D and go on to a championship match. That's a huge match. Like, that is going to be intense.
I can't wait for that.
That's going to be a big physical match. Anyway, it's main event time.
Let's go.
In EWA Week 2. And for the second week in a row, your boy is main eventing. And here's his opponent, Frost. So Frost picked up a win with a bear hug last week. He's going up against Mammoth this week. Do you think Frost can even get his arms around Mammoth? I don't think that's a viable option this week. He's going to have to find a different strategy if he's going to beat Mammoth this week, in my opinion.
You know, I don't know what Frost is going to do to beat Mammoth, because just listen to the name. Mammoth's going to come out and, I don't know, maybe tons of aggression, but I think what we saw from last week is you really can't predict these things. Not just yet. We're still getting to know everybody, still getting to fill everybody out. And I will tell you, I've been surprised more than once so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the biggest surprises we've had has been Alan Clark pulling out that victory over Mammoth. I think when everyone saw Mammoth make his entrance, I'm pretty sure everyone was just like, well, that guy's winning the title. You know, like, because he's so, you know, he's, like, just look at him, you know, like, he's just imposing, he's huge, there he is. I'll let you take this is your boy.
Come on, Mammoth. just get a look at this specimen. Now, I know he didn't exactly come away with the victory last week, but if I'm Frost, I'm not just going to go out there and think this is going to be easy.
Oh no, absolutely. The one thing I will say that Frost should have in his mind, and that will be a psychological edge. I don't know if it's an edge for Frost, because Mammoth doesn't look massively bothered by this. He's got the same stoic demeanour as last week. But for Frost, he's going to go into this with the mentality, Alan Clark beat this guy. I'm roughly equivalent size and competitive nature to Alan Clark, and I won last week as well. Like, there's every chance I can win this match. That's how he has to go into this. If he goes in with any other mentality, he's going to have a lot of trouble.
Well, Frost has got to be very careful, because you gotta understand, all week long on social media and everywhere else, Mammoth has been hearing how he messed up last week and he screwed up his debut, and he's got a chip on his shoulder, and it's a giant chip, and he's coming after Frost.
Yeah, and yeah, like you say, that extra intensity. Mammoth is not going to accept going out of the EWA Championship tournament on the second episode of EWA. Like, he's going to do everything he can to not have that happen. So, main event time. Frost and Mammoth. Will Mammoth go out of the tournament shockingly early, or will he pick up a victory? It's an interesting group block this now. If Frost wins, Mammoth shockingly goes out of the tournament super early. If Mammoth wins, that completely ties up Block A. Everyone will have 1 win and 1 loss if that happens. So it will be crucial going into week 3.
By the way, it's worth noting, Mammoth, he's got to figure out what he's doing in the ring, because being big, that's an important piece, but it is just a piece. You've still got to put it together with a great move set and picking your spots and learning how to use your power against your opponent.
Yeah, and not just how to use it, but also to not have it be detrimental. Oh, look at that, he just runs through a clothesline by Frosto and then a backbreaker. That's how you use it. He's going to learn to harness that power as well. You can have such a thing as too much power, where if you can't harness it, if you can't use that power correctly, then it's going to actually work against you. People can use that momentum against you and that sort of aggression to your disadvantage. Look at Mammoth! Did you see that?
Just immediately gets back up.
He was up faster than Frost. He got up faster than Frost. Now, that size of man shouldn't be able to stand up from lying down that quickly, regardless of having just been hit with a cutter. Like, but after being hit by a cutter, he should be even slower, and he's just not. That was incredible. Russian leg sweep by Frost, though. Frost putting up a good fight here. It's been give and take so far in the first minute and a half. Oh, Mammoth moves.
Mammoth is kind of an anomaly to me, because he is very quick on his feet, but it also seems like he's easily knocked off his feet as well. So which is it?
Yeah.
Are you a tough guy? Are you a big, strong guy? Can you stand strong against these guys that are much smaller than you?
But if you're a little bit of all of the above, that's a dangerous combination, especially with the size advantage as well. Uh-oh, he's got Frost by the face. Just pushed Frost down to the mat by his face. He was trying to just make him submit by squishing his face and not letting him breathe, but luckily Frost was right by the ropes. Oh, Frost kicks up from that big slam. Great toughness by Frost, but a headbutt to the back of the head, that'll slow you down. And just, wow.
When you hit Frost with that forearm, it's got to be like getting hit in the face with a tree trunk.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's just no preparing for that. You can be like, yeah, I know he's bigger than me, he's going to hit hard, but the first time you feel that size difference, that's... Frost, though, look at him, throwing lefts and rights. Oh, clothesline again, Mammoth doesn't go down. Oh, a shot on clothesline. Frost, it's ready where it's due. Oh, he kicks the knee. Oh. There you go, that's how you do it.
Chop him down.
First you don't succeed.
And there's that speed we talked about.
Yeah, just running through Frost, absolutely. And the suplex, there's the power. You know, it's all of the above for Mammoth, and it's impressive. I'm not sure where that clothesline was going, but oh! I know where that attack was going, and you don't want to get hit with that part of anyone's body, but Mammoth got a lot of pain behind that as well as the humiliation factor.
Mammoth has got the biggest cheeks in the industry.
Pull that on a t-shirt. Okay, right hand by Frost. Oh! He lifts Mammoth up into a backbreaker. That's a lot of weight to put across your own knee. Like, he looked like he took it okay. And now look at him. He's putting the feet on the ropes. No one can blame him. He's got to get every advantage he can, and Mammoth still kicks out at 1. Oh! Okay. Press slam by Mammoth. Good grief.
I think the problem with Mammoth is he doesn't know how to distribute his weight in a way that these much smaller guys can't pick him up so he can win.
Oh!
What's happening?
He got him!
Oh
he
my
got
goodness!
Him. Straight up with the elbow drop. He calls that the heart stopper, and rightly so. The main event victory goes to Mammoth, and Block A is all tied up. Just want to say thank you guys so much for watching again. I hope you enjoyed episode 2 as much as episode 1. And let us know by leaving likes, subscribing, and commenting below. But for now, signing off, I've been Micah Baser, my partner's been Black Bane, and we'll see you next week.